Hey there, Warriors. Welcome to another short lesson here at Yerba Buena High School. Today, we will be talking about some multiple choice test taking strategies. Take a look at this person. Ever been in his position? Not sure which selection to choose? Up, down, all of the above, none of the above? Let's go over a few things in case you ever get stuck on a multiple choice question. Actually, before we start with strategies, let's go over a couple things real quick. Multiple choice questions, or objective questions, give you options from which to choose. There is only one correct answer. You will usually bubble in your answer, circle your response, or write the letter of the corresponding option. There's a right way and a wrong way to answer these types of questions. For this video, we will not be discussing open-ended questions or written responses. Open-ended questions, written response questions, or subjective questions are based on your opinions and writing, and they are scored differently on tests. So basically, there are many ways of answering those types of questions. Some of you may breathe better when you hear multiple choice, but there are still some challenges in getting through a multiple choice section. Alright, so let's get started. Today you will learn some strategies to help get through some multiple choice-based sections on tests. We will start off with a mnemonic device known as SUPEG. Then we'll go over true and false type questions, how to give your best choice in your responses, how to identify the intruder, we'll go over that, a couple of things on matching type questions, and then we will end with some sample multiple choice questions. Remember this series of steps to help you get through a test section, especially if you have to read a passage and then answer questions about it. Scan the directions and the text or problem. Read it. Read the story or read the paragraphs that are being given to you, but also scan the directions. Understand what the directions ask and the content. That way you know what to go back to look for. Eliminate the unlikely answers one by one. Pick the best possible answer. And guess if you must, but be sure it's an educated guess. You may be given a statement and then ask whether it is true or correct, or if it is false, incorrect. Basically, is a statement right or wrong? If answers can be handwritten, be sure your T looks like a T and that your F looks like an F. Don't make up a character. Take a look at the photo on the right. Notice how the statements ask the student to consider some math or physics concepts. Yeah, not so easy, so be sure to read the statement carefully. Best choice response. So the directions will imply that there is only one true or best answer. That's your first clue. Some other options can be close or can be sometimes true, but you will need to pick the best option. Pick only one answer and be sure to fill the space entirely as the directions say. Don't fill in more than one answer thinking you'll get some credit because you're partly right. You'll get the whole thing wrong. The intruder. So this is a type of question. For this type of multiple choice question, the directions will point out that all options are true except for one, or they can all be false except for one. You will need to point out the intruder. So take a look at the photo on the right and be careful of the negative phrasing. It says, all of the following are true about mitochondria except, well, hopefully you've taken biology at this point, but take a look at the options. They contain DNA, they make some of their own proteins, they are static. So if this is an intruder type question, all of these are true except for one. And the incorrect one is C. Okay, let's move on to matching type questions. The test will provide you a list of options, often assigned to a letter, to match a statement. The statement can be fill in the blank or a word's definition. Check the directions to see if you can select a letter more than once. Take a look at the quiz sample at the bottom. You'll see 6 numbered questions on the left and 6 options on the right. The ones on the right are labeled A through F. You could be asked to draw a line to match each statement to the letter or write the letter on an answer sheet. Alright, let's go over some sample questions using the mnemonic device SUPEG. You may want to write that down. Remember, it stands for scan, understand, eliminate, pick, and guess. Okay, since you're not taking a real test, I'll just tell you, this question has to do with pronouns. But let's scan the directions and the question first. Okay, it says read the passage and select the best change for the underlined part. In today's society, smoking is no longer a symbol of coolness and sophistication as they used to think. Okay, it sounds okay, as they used to think. Let me look at A through D to understand what we're talking about here. So at first, it may look like it has to do with tense, since I see they used to think, it once has been, it once was, I see was again, but it may also have to do with pronouns. The other difference I see is they, plural, and then it goes to it, singular. Well, let me go back to the way the sentence starts. In today's society, smoking is no longer. So smoking is the subject. So if that's my main noun, it sounds a little weird for the underlying part to go into they, since I don't know who they are. So I'm going to cross out A in my mind, and let me go to the next ones. B says as it once has been, and C says as was once thought to be. Well, it is okay because I'm talking about smoking. I'm calling it it now. But I'm going to cross out B as an option because it says has been, and the regular sentence is in simple past tense. And I'm also going to cross out C because it says it was once thought to be. Well, who's doing the thinking? That's not clear to me. So it sounds like D is the best choice for now. So notice how I've scanned through the sentence and the directions to understand what's being asked of me. I started the process of elimination by going through each one, ruling out the wrong answers, and then I picked my best guess. And remember, if you're not sure, guess. Put something down, don't leave it blank. You have at least a 25% chance of getting it right. Organizing passages. So you have to imagine you have just received a few paragraphs to read and you were answering questions along the way. You were doing such a good job. Then at the end, you receive an evil question like this one, where it says, choose the sequence of paragraph numbers that makes the structure of the essay most logical. Ugh. I'm going to give you a few pointers here, and keep in mind it'll never be this easy. But if you've been reading the same essay, short story, or passage in general, it should be fresh in your mind if you've been reading through it and answering questions. But take a look at this. We're being asked to rearrange paragraphs or leave them as is to determine if they're in the right order. But look at what's given to you. Look at A, B, C, and D, and notice how paragraphs 1 or 2 have to be the start of the passage. That's given to you. Okay, so I've scanned the directions. I've been scanning the passages so far. I understand I'm being asked to select the best order of these paragraphs. Let's take a look at this imaginary sample passage. Okay, take a breath. I don't expect you to read the whole thing, unless you want to. But let's look at some clues here, scan and understand what we know so we can start eliminating. We know paragraphs 1 or 2 can be the first paragraph. That's a given in the options. I see a quote. A quote can be the start of a passage, but I notice the speaker is given a name, and then later on in paragraph 4, we see a first and a last name. So that tells me something's odd about the way it's structured this way. So paragraph 1 has to go after paragraph 4 for that speaker to be referred to by simply a last name. So, as I said, it will never be this easy, but I can already start eliminating options A, B, and D based on the clues that I've been able to identify. So I was able to use what I know about quotes and about introducing names of speakers, and that's helped me pick the best choice in this case because I've eliminated all the other wrong possibilities. And in this case, the answer is C. All right, well, I wish we had more time to go over some more sample questions, Warriors, but we are short on time today. So best of luck. So remember to use SUPEG, and remember the following. Pick your best guess if you are unsure. If you get stuck on a question, skip it for now. Go back to questions you skip later. But if you have a Scantron sheet, be sure the item number in the test book and on your answer sheet are the same.